Hello, Contemporary World Problems students. We are at your week 3 content exploration. Wanted to record a short video to put here to talk a little bit about how to do this content exploration. Also, to give you a quick heads up that your notes template will be turned in as a part of Thursday's assessment. So the work you're doing today during content exploration is actually going to just be a big part of your assessment. And so I want to show you what that looks like. Click here to get your copy of the week 3 notes. And then you're going to start just adding information to that notes template based off what's here. So what we're looking at is the causes, effects, and solutions to global climate change. And you've got a lot of resources down below, but you don't need to access all of them. So step 1 is an overview. This is a good video to watch that talks about all 3 sections of the notes: the causes, the effects, and the solutions. And so that's a good one to start with. Next, you're going to kind of choose your own adventure. So under the causes section, it says choose one of the resources below to explore. You've got 3 options here. One that deals mostly with the science, one that deals a lot with like the economy, which sectors of the economy, and then one that's just a nice and short, description of the science. So after you've got the causes of climate change down, next you're going to move on to effects. Effects has 2 rows, so you're going to choose one resource from each row. And the idea there is that different regions and communities are being affected by climate change in different ways. And so you can see how different regions around the United States are being impacted by climate change. Here's the U.S. Northwest where we live. But then also there's 2 articles here. So we want you to pick one of these and then either one of these that talks about how climate change in a lot of ways is impacting people in poverty more. And that's both internationally. And so you can click here if you want to find out about countries around the world. But that's also here in the United States, where there are marginalized communities inside the United States that are also being disproportionately affected by climate change. Okay, so last step then is the solutions. So choose one of these resources and take notes about the solutions. I put them in this order: prevent, undo, and adapt. Because that's what was in the video that we showed during the hook. And so preventing means stopping fossil fuel use and starting to use renewable energy. There's also a couple of new technologies around carbon sequestration. Of course, there's also just planting more trees, which also sequesters lots of carbon. And so that's a really important thing, because that actually pulls carbon dioxide out of the air. And then there's also adapt, which talks a little bit about that as well. And it's talking about using nature to adapt to climate change. Okay, so after you have accessed these different documents, you're going to put notes in your note tracker. But I wanted to just also mention that you don't have to have you don't have to read every last word that's in one of these files. So like for this document here, for instance, this is the carbon sequestration. You don't have to read every single word that's here. So I want to talk a little bit about scanning. You can start by looking at the titles. How does carbon sequestration work? Dive into paragraphs that you're more interested in. But then you can also see that I've chosen resources that have kind of a lot of headings. And so you don't need to read every single one, but like you can notice there's a difference between geological carbon sequestration versus biological. And so that's the difference between essentially planting more forests or using better practices in our farming versus actually using technology to pull carbon out of the air. So super cool stuff, but you don't need to read every single word on all of these articles in order to get the information that you need. Alrighty, have a wonderful time doing content exploration. Bye, everybody.